Okay guys, we're just doing one more video here. This is positioning again. And this time we're going to be focusing on center backs again, and Flash is our center back here. Let's get it oriented, and this time we're focusing actually on defensive positioning for the center backs. Last time we talked about offensive positioning, this is defensive positioning. So we've got our goalie, our two center backs, we've got our three midfielders here, our striker, and the other team I have already set up with the goalie, two center backs, their three midfielders, and their striker. So as center backs, your number one job is to help stop the other team from scoring. So your main focus is the center backs is to make sure this striker on the other team is marked. So let's see, and you always want to have pressure and cover. So in this situation, we've got our, the other team has the ball here, and our wings pushed up to mark them. The center back then becomes the cover actually for our wing here who's pressuring that ball. And then we've got our center back here on their defender. It's so important for this other wing to drop back and pinch in because now this wing is providing cover for our center back as well. Anytime that they play the ball in to that striker, and we've got this center back applying pressure, the other center back needs to drop back and behind them to provide cover. So if they are beat, then if their striker gets by our other center back and are beat, then Flash then becomes the pressure and is there. He was the cover, but now he's the pressure. Anytime you get beat, like number 4 just got beat, if any of the center backs get beat, they have to immediately sprint back to then become cover for their other center back who's now pressure. So if Flash got beat there, then this guy would become the pressure. If he got beat, then Flash would have to turn and immediately sprint back to provide cover. The same thing's true if their striker gets through and our goalie comes back. Our two center backs, whichever one, and both of them is okay. They just need to sprint back and provide cover for our goalie, even if they have to go all the way back to the goal line. They can't use their hands, but they can stand on the goal line to help block a shot if the defender gets by our goalie and tries to shoot it. So no matter where you're on the field, if you get beat, you're gonna sprint immediately back and provide cover for whoever's applying pressure. So as they're passing the ball from side to side to side here, our center backs have to shift from side to side. And while they're doing that, they have to make sure that this striker is being marked. So if the ball's over here, then they shift that way, and this center back is on their striker. If they pass the ball to the other side and they shift, then they have to pass that striker off to their teammate there. But they always want to be communicating to make sure that striker always has somebody on them. When the other team's doing goal kicks, it'll look like this. They've got their play out line here that we can't come into. And then they'll usually put their striker in here or here. Their goalie will have the ball here. If they put the striker here, then this center back is going to push up and mark tight on them. And when you're marking this person, you should be close enough, you should be able to touch them and be touching them even if you wanted to. If they're on the other side of the field, then they just shift like that, and Flash would come and put pressure on that forward, so it's not giving them any good options to work the ball up from a goal kick. The other thing when we don't have the ball that's really crucial for our goalie and our two center backs to do is to communicate. They are the position that can see the entire field really well, and a lot of times they aren't under pressure, and so they should be communicating to their team to get marked up when we don't have the ball, and to help their teammates also see when we do have the ball what space is open and talk to each other, like switch the ball or pass it back or down the line, because they can see it so clearly from back in this position of the field. So hopefully that helps you a little bit, and that's it for positioning for center backs.